You can only imagine how excited I was when I read this headline here. Detroit to become the largest city in the U.S. to accept cryptocurrency payments for taxes and other fees. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know why I'm so excited, well, let me introduce myself. My name is Wade Teamer. I've been in this space since 2019. I've researched over 1,000 digital assets. And the number one reason I run this show is to share all of that knowledge with the people. This world is changing dramatically. And the number one thing being affected right now is our money. All the more reason why I end every episode with the motto: if the money is digital, so is the hustle. But where do you think that hustle element came from, folks? 3, 1, 3. I love full circle moments. And this is one hell of a full circle moment. Now, before we dive into this, we're going to jump over to Channel 7 because they did an excellent report on this story that will give us an idea about the man who actually kickstarted the idea. Let's take a listen.
Well, there are a few states and some smaller cities throughout the U.S. that do accept cryptocurrency payments, but Detroit is making headlines today now as the biggest U.S. city to do so. And it all started with an idea from one young resident.
I'm not surprised. I'm more so grateful in the sense of me being able to say something and my voice actually being heard in this way.
For nearly 10 years, Detroit native Daniel Easterly has been investing in cryptocurrency and is now an entrepreneur in blockchain technology. But earlier this year, he approached the city about making payments in crypto.
Why would you pay with your cryptocurrency is because cryptocurrency hedges against inflation, right? A big part of cryptocurrency is the fact that you have the ability to fractionally even invest into that currency.
It was always an option in the back of our minds as the payment platform evolved.
City Treasurer Nikhil Patel says Daniel's suggestion sparked a change. With the city rolling out a new platform to pay city taxes this summer, they quickly added an option to pay with cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, becoming the largest U.S. city to do so.
You'll have options to pay with credit card, checking account, and PayPal, PayPal Cash, or PayPal with crypto.
I paid for my deck with blockchain, if that makes any sense, through Lowe's.
Timothy Bates teaches at the Flint College of Innovation and feels the option will especially benefit residents working in tech.
If you are making money on crypto and trading and you can pay your taxes on it, then it benefits that citizen, where they may not have a job in the real world that pays that kind of money.
Although the payment will be made in crypto, the city is not investing or holding on to that currency. Instead, PayPal will convert the payment into U.S. dollars.
The city is not going to manage the risk of the ups and downs of the crypto market. It gets converted to dollars at the time you pay.
Instead, they see this as an investment in attracting and retaining young talent, encouraging tech entrepreneurs to build in Detroit.
I want people to think that Detroit is ready for business, for creativity, for entrepreneurship.
Detroit is changing, right? And there's so much potential here, and it's about the Detroiters showing the rest of the world what we actually have to offer. And through this process, we'll do that.
Now, for any entrepreneurs out there who have ideas of how the city can implement blockchain technology, they are accepting pitches. You can send that up until December 15th. We'll include the information to do so on our website, wxyz.com.
Excellent reporting, man. Listen, I'm going to do my best to manage my emotions because, like I said, born and raised in the D. And when I left at a time, this was right after high school, and honestly, it wasn't 100% on me. My parents had a lot to do with me leaving the city when I did, but I was ready. Had a job right out of high school, right over there on Jefferson and Mount Elliott at that Jets Pizza at the, what they call that, Harbor Town, little strip mall or whatever. So I was ready to go full steam into the city. But I bring that up because something else that was going on when I left high school. A lot of initiatives began to kick off in the city of Detroit that were focused on the future, some years ahead in the future, 2030, right? A lot of those things included economic development, which I bring that up because that's exactly what the main theme is with this story. Notice they said that the city wouldn't be holding any of these assets. It would strictly be making use of the underlying blockchain technology. Leave it to my city to take the right approach straight from the jump, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Detroit isn't the only ones that have done this in the last couple of years. you will look this up, and you'll also come across the city. Miami did this. New York's mayor, Mr. Adams, he took a paycheck in crypto, and he's done other things, crypto-related things as well for the city of New York. The city of New York is a financial hotbed, and a lot of crypto companies have problems working and operating in the city of New York. He's changing things like that. This is coming from Mr. Duggan himself, who there's some information about him that I'm going to share as well. He may be getting ready to take another step, another leg up that will help Michigan residents, especially when it comes to innovating for entrepreneurs. Now, I want to jump into this article because it's not just Detroit taking crypto for payments. You have to have an understanding of the players involved here. If you're new, that's what you're going to get on this channel. I'm not going to tell you which crypto to buy in hopes that it's going to pump 100%. No. As you can clearly see, the large entities, the thinking bodies around this nation, because it was just at the government level. Now it's trickling down to the state, and as you can see, the city, the local level. What I like to do on this channel is highlight the players and the people in the position that are pushing this narrative forward. And Detroit, you picked the right one in the form of PayPal. Now let's dive into this story so we can get additional details. As we know, Detroit residents will soon have the option to pay taxes and other city fees using cryptocurrency through a secure platform managed by PayPal. City officials announced today, in doing so, Detroit would become the largest U.S. city to accept payments. The innovative payment option is part of a larger strategy by the city to explore innovative technologies that could enhance public services, strengthen civic engagement, and foster economic growth. The initiative not only makes it easier for Detroit residents to transact with the city, but also marks Detroit's commitment to welcoming blockchain and technology entrepreneurs who want to make a difference. The focus is the underlying technology. That is why they put out the call for ideas related to blockchain that can be used for city services, that can be used for transportation. Another big theme that will come out of this, I feel, is how it can now begin to spread to the mobility sector. And despite what mainstream media may tell you, Detroit is still the motor city capital. We are still the capital of automobiles in this country. And we're getting ready to now head into the digital transformation for automobiles that can be described under the umbrella of mobility, advanced mobility. I'll tell you another story. I was working for a security company. They placed you at different spots in downtown Detroit. The majority of the time I spent working auto shows. But off season, I was able to do security at an event. It was called Cobo Hall back then. It's called something else now. Can't remember precisely. That's not the important part. But the gig that I worked, security, was for an event. This had to be 2011. It's important to take note of the date because this was before all of those Lime scooters, Bird scooters, Uber scooters hit the market. I worked the event where those companies came to the city of Detroit to announce this new plan. So I knew that something was brewing. And you got to keep in mind, this is almost over 10 years ago. I ain't had no sense. But I was able to pick up on something. That will be the next leg of this, and I'll show you that. But in addition to the cryptocurrency payment option, the city of Detroit invites blockchain entrepreneurs and innovators to pitch their ideas for blockchain civic applications to Justin Onview, the city of Detroit's first director of entrepreneurship and economic opportunity. Through this open call for innovative blockchain applications, the city is particularly interested in projects that leverage blockchain's potential for enhancing transparency, improving data security, and streamlining public services. Do I have to say it? Y'all put it down in the comments. What assets do we know that do that on a daily basis? They've been doing it for almost everybody else around the United States. I would love to see Hedera come to the D. Stellar Lumens come to the D. Ripple come to the D. It can happen. Listen, if you're new to crypto, let me drop this perspective on you because we need to talk about the PayPal element here. PayPal is the equivalent of Western, it's the digital version of Western Union. PayPal is to Western Union what Amazon was to brick and mortar bookstores. If you know how deeply entrenched Western Union is in the city of Detroit, particularly there's a location on Woodward Avenue that made Western Union famous in the city. Now, take that same system, everything you can do at a Western Union, PayPal lets you do it from your phone. That's what we're getting here. And outside of that, I see many MoneyGram locations. Now, the thing about those two companies is that they have very interesting ties to only a select group of assets. We already know what PayPal has just extended to Stellar Lumens. They already take Bitcoin, Ethereum, and they added Solana in the last 12 months. According to this press release, the first two assets that they're going to allow take as payment is Bitcoin and Ethereum. But I love to see this because you always got to scroll down. You always got to keep scrolling, ladies and gentlemen, because they mentioned that, of course, they would add more crypto options based on marketability and how the market changes. So another aspect that Duggan pointed out in that report was that they don't want to touch the volatility of crypto. Well, if this happens to get to you somehow, or Justin on you, if this gets to you, and forgive me if I mispronounce the last name, I have one word for you: stablecoin. And I think you guys have an idea of what a stablecoin is because you picked one of the largest, hottest stablecoin issuers from the last 12 months, PayPal USD. So you can now imagine a scenario, okay? Because what PayPal is offering is a conversion mechanism. People are weary of the fact that these crypto assets, they're volatile. When you get Bitcoin, it's $500 worth, but you wait 3 days, it's $475 now. People don't like that. However, you don't have that same problem with a stable coin. And bringing it back to the whole point of what the city was planning to do, I want to show you the sentence where they say that they were going to implement. Here it is. The city will initially accept Bitcoin and Ethereum with the possibility of adding other cryptocurrencies in the future based on user demand and market conditions. When they say user demand and market conditions, that is contingent upon the companies that are already there. MoneyGram is heavily entrenched in Detroit. They've been the traditional company trying to push Western Union out. MoneyGram is very tied in with crypto, and the one that they just added, well, not just added, MasterCard just added them, but still, Stellar Lumens. Now, I'm not trying to say that this is going to happen. This is what I think could happen based on the information. Now, I talked a lot about the plans that Detroit was getting ready to kick off when I left. And again, I love my city, but don't get me wrong. I was coming up in the 2010s, and the idea back then was to get out of the hood, make your money, and then come back and make the hood better. I feel like I'm in that come back and make the hood better process. I'm making a little money, and I'm going to come back and make the hood better. But there were massive projects going on, and this is just one of them. Okay? So we got a beautiful part of our city. It's called the Riverfront. Okay? People come from all across the country just to see the Riverfront, the Detroit River. Numerous events happen there. They moved the Grand Prix from Belle Isle to downtown Detroit to take advantage of this riverfront view. And there is a big plan to restore it, expand it, all types of things that they want to do at this riverfront. Now, I bring this up because, listen, you're getting into crypto for the first time. If this story is your first exposure to crypto, you have to understand this is a speculation game. But speculation with enough circumstantial evidence, you can establish a pretty concrete conclusion. Detroit has been ready for this for decades. All right? They've been ready for it for decades. And it just took somebody with enough gumption to push it in that direction. So I like the guy that they have at the Treasury right now because he's open-minded. Someone who wasn't open-minded wouldn't have even taken this idea in. So that's one sign. Getting back to this Riverfront, I can imagine, because down here, and you can see my cursor, this big black building, that's our gym right there. That's our jewel. That is Detroit, the Renaissance Center. It's GM's global headquarters. I grew up knowing it as the Renaissance Center, the RenCen. But back behind that is the original Riverfront property. That has also been renovated and improved on in recent years. But there are sometimes little shops that open up seasonally down there. They have bike rentals, so forth and so on. But I'm imagining a scenario where sometime in the future, these little shops, let me just throw it out there, Riverfront stablecoin. Somewhere you can set up outpost along. This will either be Gratiot, 4th Street, one of those two, and on the other side is Jefferson Avenue. But you set up little posts along this entryway here, this street, and people can scan a QR code, convert their dollars into the stablecoin, use the stablecoin for goods, services, events that occur strictly on the Riverfront. Then on the back end, the Riverfront Conservancy group, they can take those funds, convert them back to USD, and bam, now you got profit. And it's also easier to manage from a tax perspective because it separates those funds from your dollars. Again, that's why I said my proposal will consist of a stable coin. All right. Now, outside of the Riverfront project, like I said, Detroit has been aiming for some big stuff, y'all. This is just one, Detroit Future City 2030. This doesn't specifically mention blockchain or DLT, but what they talk about is creating an environment for entrepreneurs to leverage emerging technologies. Sounds a lot like where blockchain and DLT would fit into. And on top of that, you have the Michigan 2030 plan backed by the Detroit Regional Chamber. This incorporates a more widespread across the state of Michigan initiatives, but they still have a focus on the digital transformation. And then it brings us back to this here. Now, I remember in high school, I was doing some stuff for the Free Press, and I got to go to this event at this place here, Detroit Economic Club. And I did not realize it back then, but I was standing next to Titans. The meal that I ate, it cost $37. I got one piece of chicken and a spoonful of mashed potatoes and 3 things of asparagus. $35. And back then, I knew that was crazy, right? But it was at this event where something started to click to me. Oh, and you see that building right there? That's the CompuWare building. Expect some news to come out of there. But I knew that there was something different about the city of Detroit from an economic standpoint, that people had a certain level of respect for my city on a national stage when it came to making money. I was completely unaware of what it would lead to, and I genuinely believe that it culminates right here, because this is just the beginning. Like I said, I believe I brought it up earlier. So Duggan, his term as mayor is getting ready to come to an end mid-2025, right around the same time that all of this stuff is supposed to kick off, by the way. Should have mentioned that in the beginning, 2025, next summer, next spring, which is the perfect time for the city of Detroit. We got River Days in June. Hopefully they still do that. It's a lot of shootings that happen during that time. But River Days, you have the Grand Prix. Like I said, the auto show is now outside. Again, another place to implement a stable coin. Okay? If people... You do it kind of like China did with the Olympics and the digital yuan. Okay? You create a test bed, allocate maybe 100,000 of the stable coin, and let people use it how they see fit. Set up events or products, exclusives that can only be gotten with the stable coin that are tied in with the auto show, with the Grand Prix, with River Days. Listen, I could go on. I'm drafting my proposal. I got 30 days. Yeah, I'm drafting my proposal. But Mayor Duggan, he's getting ready to end his mayoral term in 2025, but everybody is pointing to the fact that he may become governor after, because Whitmer can no longer run again because she's been dominating the last 8 to 10 years, right? So that opens the door for Duggan to run in 2026 to be the governor of Michigan. And with the way that the political landscape has been shifted in the red direction, a lot of people, a lot of Republicans, they are very crypto friendly. So once we start to see more information to support that idea, I'll definitely share it with you. But that's where I'm heading with this one. If he was able to do this before he left as mayor, just imagine what his plans could be as governor. I could see it. Now, the last bit of this, and I think I mentioned it earlier in the video, mobility. So, coming out of high school, first job I got was security guard. Security guard for this company. And the company's name has changed several times since then. It was an independent, but they would place me at events at Cobo Hall, as it was called at the time, Ford Field, and a lot of stuff at the Riverfront, right? One event I got to do was at Cobo Hall, and it was a mobility event. This was 2011, 12. The people who were at this event included Uber, Lyft, a couple of other ride-sharing companies that I didn't know about. But this was before they were mainstream. And this was before you started to see scooters, Lyft and Bird and the orange one, all of those scooters. This was before then, but they unveiled the first model of the scooter at this event. So this is real life experience that I'm sharing with you about what could potentially come from Detroit becoming a crypto hub. If this is y'all plan, run with it. Because when we're talking mobility, we automatically have to bring in the conversation of automobiles. And despite what the media may tell you, Detroit is still the #1 spot when it comes to automotive innovation in the United States of America. You got companies like Ford, GM, that have headquartered themselves here that are looking to get into that digital transformation. I'll give you an example. We see it all the time. There's an asset called Fetch AI that works with Mercedes, BMW, Audi, Jaguar. The list goes on. Bosch. What would it take for Ford to get involved? What would it take for GM to get involved? And the moment that they do, come on now. Listen, do y'all know what happens when something runs through Detroit? We make it known. We make it known. Just ask rappers from the South and where they got their sound from over the last 5 years. But in all seriousness, guys, I like this. I am happy to see this. I can't wait to go back to the D now because we did the draft last year. The way the Lions are going, Super Bowl, let's get it. Or NFC Championship game at Ford Field. I need crypto. I need crypto in attendance. I want to be able to buy my Super Bowl ticket in crypto. Okay? Buy my NFC Championship game ticket in crypto. That's what I want to see. With that, man, look, I really hope I conveyed my message the best that I could. I am understandably very excited about this development because this is my home, y'all. I know I'm not necessarily residing there now, but like I said, the goal when I was coming up, 2010s, get out the hood, go make a couple dollars, come back to the hood and improve it for the next generation. Now we got a technology that we can use to do that very thing. So I'll be making, listen, I'm on my way to the city, man. I got to. Because if y'all looking for proposals, okay. Listen, we gonna end it right here, man. It's Friday afternoon. Check out my episode from earlier. I dropped it on Hedera. I'm gonna be kicking out a little bit more extra content this month, going on that Christmas bonus. keeping it 100 with y'all. But again, man, I'm excited. Let me do my little last spiel here. Listen, I've used a bunch of crypto tools in this space, and in the pinned comment, I'm sharing with you the 5 that I use the most. That includes Uphold, Robinhood, Cash App, as well as the SafePal X1 hardware wallet. If you want to hold your crypto long term, not worry about the volatility, not worry about the drama, you need to pick yourself up a hardware wallet. Again, those tools will be in the pinned comment alongside this one here. This is a free PDF that I would encourage you to download if you're new to crypto. It'll give you an idea, 5 verticals of crypto, easy ways to understand how this wild, crazy market can be understood. Outside of that, the evaluation criteria for any asset. I talk about certain assets on this channel that's based on my preference and what I think is going to rock this industry going forward. But that never means that I want you to only look at those assets. That is why I put this criteria in this PDF to give you the 4 things you need to look out for when looking into any asset. And outside of that, you'll get links to different crypto ecosystems, both good and bad, to give you the best perspective of this space, tools and resources that'll connect you to on-chain data, analytics, news, so forth and so on. Listen, this PDF will save you years of time, okay? Years of time. But it's my way of giving back to an industry that has literally changed who I am as a man. So, and now this industry about to have me coming back to the D. One time. Thank you. With that, y'all know what time it is. If that money is digital, so is the hustle.